our first speaker. She is local from El Dorado Hills here. And welcome out Keerthi Karnati. Keerthi, come on.
Going to die. I was paralyzed by fear as they were calling my name out in front of 500, 600 kids? Now you'd think I got caught stealing something, but no, I had just won an essay writing contest. I was 8 and so terrified that I pretended like I didn't hear them and I refused to go up and get my prize. In fact, when I was a kid, fear and self-doubt were my best friends. I probably had more fears than I had hairs on my head, and I come from a family with a very thick hairline. Have you ever felt anything like that? So burdened by your own self-doubt and fear that you're paralyzed to do anything? Yeah, I see someone's nodding their head. Over the years, I had built this huge mountain of fears in my mind that I was too scared to climb. Throughout school and college, I let my fears get the best of me. Any attempt at facing them, my heart would race, my throat would get extremely dry like it's getting now, and my face, it would do the worst of all, a weird twitch. Talk about self-esteem taking a hit. And now I know who to blame for all of the relationships that I didn't have, and it's not my mother. Would you date a face twitcher like me? Don't answer that. I've had enough trauma with that already. That's how I learned to hide behind my mountain of fears every time something came my way. And for as long as I hid behind it, it was impossible to conquer it. But in life, how much can you hide? All of my fears were painful, but the biggest of them all was speaking in front of people. And when I say people, I don't mean a room full of people like you. Even one was a crowd I was too scared to face. So think about normal activities, say giving a toast at a friend's wedding, asking someone out, or even haggling with that salesperson. All of those were impossible for me. But as humans, we have this tendency to survive anything that's uncomfortable, and sometimes that means avoiding the situation altogether. And I learned to do that too. I had gotten so good at it that somewhere I felt like my past was behind me. That I wasn't the 8-year-old anymore who was terrified of everything. But reality hit me with this one incident. When I was 24, I was working with this company that had a lot of frequent happy hours. We're talking about every other Friday. One such happy hour, I was sitting next to this guy, Danny, who I had a major crush on. You know, the charming, handsome types who can light up any room they walk into. April, you know the kind I'm talking about. And I wasn't that face twitcher anymore. I was having a great time. I thought it could lead to something. It was my turn to order drinks, and I asked the waiter for a vodka cranberry. And that's it. Everyone started laughing at me. What? What is it? Is it my face? Is it my hair? I ordered the wrong drink, didn't I? And before I could answer any of that, I saw my boss, Tom, walk up to me and say, KK, that was a funny drink. You should order that for me. The vodka cranberry, Tom? And there goes everyone laughing again. What is going on? I look for support and I see that even charming Danny was laughing at me. I felt a sudden lump in my throat and I felt like I was drowning in an ocean of embarrassment. And it took me a minute to realize that they were making fun of my accent. Apparently, it was vodka and not vodka. And apparently, it wasn't the first time they were laughing at me. Fearing what they may laugh at again, I sat quietly for the rest of the night. When I went back home, I replayed that incident over and over in my mind. Why did they laugh at me so much? Why didn't I say anything? Why do I let people do this to me over and over? And then I realized that years went by, but I was the same terrified 8-year-old. And I don't think I can go on another 24 years living in that fear. Now I had enough reasons to actually fight my fears. Boom! That's how I overcame my lifelong fear of speaking in front of people. I wish it was that easy. I made the decision to become Keerthi 2.0, but where do I start? Is it my English? Is it the way I dress? Should I go to therapy? What should I do? So I did what any of us would do when we're confused. I sat down and I made a list of things I wanted to change in my life. It's a no-brainer. The top of the list was, Keerthi, do something about that fear of people. So I did some research and I came up with a solution. Prison. And I know Debbie is thinking, man, what was she smoking that night? Debbie, all of these decisions were sober, just to let you know. But let me explain. I was thinking if I could get comfortable with dangerous people who live in prisons, I would have nothing to worry about normal people. Right? Great idea. So I signed up for a volunteering opportunity where I had to teach this inmate basic math in exchange for 3 days off of his sentence. Big win-win. He gets his sentence reduced and I get my fear addressed. Turns out my great idea wasn't all that great, and I realized it the moment I stepped into the prison. Because I was hoping for more of a glass window type of arrangement. That's what I've seen in most movies. But they put me and the inmate in the same room and locked the metal door behind me. Oh, and that's not even the best part. The best part was at the end of the session, they tell me that if the inmate ever decided to take me hostage, they would not negotiate. Why didn't anybody tell me when I was signing up for this opportunity? And what was I thinking? My idea of creating Keerthi 2.0 meant killing Keerthi altogether. Not the kind of the start I was hoping for my journey. Every day for 2 weeks, I felt like it was my last day. So guess what I did? I quit. I thought about it and decided maybe I should go for something safer, something simpler. So I did some more research and I came up with another solution. Toastmasters. And for those of you who don't know what Toastmasters is, it's an organization that will help you build your communication and leadership skills. Much safer than prison. Or so I thought. I looked up a club and a time that worked for me, and I showed up at their doorstep, and as soon as I saw that door, guess who came back? My best friends, my fear and my self-doubt, and they brought reinforcements. My racing heart and my dangerous dehydration. I was thinking about everything that could go wrong, how I would die in that meeting trying to get up and speak. And it got to a point where my overthinking got out of control and I said, Keerthi, enough. Remember, you survived prison for 2 weeks. You can do this for an hour. And before I could talk myself out of it, I opened the door and I entered the room. And I looked for the darkest corner of the room to hide. Every minute of that meeting was, oh my gosh, a torture. Constantly kept getting scared. Are they going to call on me? Are they going to make me talk? Why did I do this? And who are these people? Why is that guy staring at me? But I couldn't quit this time. I probably won't find another safer environment than this. So I came back the week after. And the week after. And the week after. And every week since then. Don't get me wrong. Every time I was in one of those meetings, I felt like that's how I was going to die. Why wouldn't I? My mountain of fears was built on rocks of self-doubt, and quitting was my favorite downhill activity. Fortunately for me, my mentor, Norali Cole, noticed I was this close to a mental breakdown. So she took me aside and she said, Keerthi, I know you think this is impossible and I know you think this is exhausting and overwhelming, but I see something in you. And I know that big things are coming your way. I need you to take one more step towards your goal today. And if you have trouble believing in yourself, borrow a little belief from me. Belief. That's what I had been missing my whole life. All I had to do was place a little bit of belief in myself, so I did. I worked harder than ever. I pushed every limit that I thought I had. And I'm so happy to tell you that I not only overcame my fear of speaking in front of people, and this time, a room full of people, but I went back to the prison and I finished my assignment. At the end of our course, my inmate got 3 days taken off of his sentence. But to be honest, it was my sentence that was reduced. If there is anything I want you all to walk away with today from my bad decisions, it's the fact that overcoming our fears requires us to believe in ourselves. And these are the 3 keys that helped me in my journey. Number 1, to find a reason. And as much as I hate, Tom was a big reason for me to get up and do something about my fears. Number 2, to not overthink. I cannot tell you how many dreams I've crushed by overthinking them, just like many of you may be overthinking right now. And hey, if having a glass of vodka helps you, go for it. And number 3, doing the work. So many times I felt like, I wish there was an easier way. I wish I could fly to the top of my mountain, but no. I had to scale it one step at a time with the right attitude and the right equipment. This mountain, no matter how big it is, you've created in your minds, you can conquer it. It seems impossible, but once you get to the top, you will realize that it was only as big as you ever made it. If you created this mountain, you can conquer it too. And if you have trouble believing in yourselves, borrow a little belief from